Hi, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. My name is June Melia, and I'm going to talk a little bit today about goals. What is better? Is it better to set big goals, big things like training for a marathon, climbing some big mountain that you've always wanted to climb, big goals, or are you better off setting smaller goals? Are smaller goals better, like a mini goal? Weekly mini goals, daily goals, which one is better? So let's start off with the benefits of setting big goals. So by a big goal, I mean something that would take you lots and lots of weeks or even months in order to accomplish big goals. And typically week by week, there's an accumulation so that you if you miss a week of training, then you're kind of behind the game. So something like training for a marathon, or maybe you have a big hike that you've always wanted to accomplish, and there's like a training plan and a program that is part of that and that you need to maintain, and there's like a big volume increase. So for some people, setting big goals is great, right? Why would a big goal be great? Well, it creates a little bit of intrinsic pressure. It creates there's no way out of it. You have committed. You have checked the box saying you're doing it. Maybe you've spent money on it. It is a big goal. And that requires lots of motivation. And for some people, writing a check is great motivation. Or traveling somewhere for a big trip. Maybe you'll go to Alaska and do a big hike. And in order to do that, you've got to pay for plane tickets, right? Big goals. And so that keeps you super accountable. You are in it to win it. There's no escaping it. You are going to get your daily, weekly, monthly workouts in because you've told everyone you're doing this crazy big thing. And for a lot of people, this can be great. This is exactly what you need in order to keep moving forward and reach that big goal. So lots of pressure. Maybe you're inviting other people to do it too. So like other people are involved. So even though it means on Sunday mornings you're going to have to wake up at the crack of dawn and get out the door and do something, you're going to do it because other people also are relying on you. Maybe this is a bucket goal list. It's something you've always wanted to do and you're not getting any younger and there's an opportunity to do it. And so you're going to do it. And chances are it's going to be really good for you. It's going to be great. But you've put sort of more than normal on the line, right? You've put a lot of skin in the game and you're going to follow through to your best abilities. I mean, this is the kind of goal, people do even though they end up getting injured or sick and they keep doing it. 3 years ago, I signed up for the Vermont City Marathon, which is just north of where I live. And 5 weeks before that stinking thing, I got sick. I got the flu. And I was hoping for I'm not a fast runner, and I was hoping for like a 4-hour marathon maybe, and I chugged along. I did not do as well as I had hoped, but I did it. I did it, and it was actually a bucket list goal of mine to do that specific marathon, and so I did it. For better or for worse, you do it, and it's a big goal, and that's amazing. Now, this is the issue. And this is where you need to know yourself a little bit, is sometimes it's too much pressure. Sometimes it makes us collapse and feel resentful and upset. And we sabotage it. And then we don't end up doing it at all. So sometimes that takes some self-reflection. Like if you feel like there's been things in your life that you've committed to and then not followed through on, like big things that you kind of sabotage, you bail, you just don't follow through. You set a big goal and then several weeks later you're like, I don't know, do I really want to do that? Sounds like a really big sacrifice. And then you peter out and someone asks you, hey, I thought you were gonna, and you're like, oh yeah, I changed my mind. So sometimes for some people it's too much pressure. Another negative to these kinds of big goals is that if you do get sick, like I did, you miss training. I missed 2 of my crucial long runs. So I think my longest run was like a 15-mile run, so just over a half marathon. And the next few weeks I was coughing and not up to it, and I think I did like a 90-minute run, but I really wasn't at my best. And so I didn't do great. I ended up walk running the last 3 or 4 miles of that marathon and sort of chugging along because I didn't feel great and I was still coughing, and I ended up doing it in like I think it was over 5 hours. It was a long slog. So that's part of the problem, is that if I had gotten that sick earlier in the training, I probably wouldn't have done it. I probably wouldn't have, because I would have the whole time felt like I was playing catch up. I was so far into the training at that point that I was in it. So I did it. But that's one of the things, is that like if a wheel comes off in your training and your planning and your schedule, maybe your kids get sick, maybe you need to help someone else in your family, and so your training doesn't pan out how you would hoped. Well, then you're not going to get you're not going to, it's hard to play catch up, and that's one of some of the negatives. Sometimes it's too much pressure. It's sort of an all or nothing kind of thing. Or if you miss a week or month, then you're kind of, it's all over. And injury, right? If you are so committed to something that you'll do anything, you might end up getting injured or not listening to your creaky knees if you have a big goal. So that's some of the negatives. There are lots of positives because it's skin in the game. You're in it to win it. You are going to do it no matter what. But with that comes the negatives of for some people, it's too much pressure. It's an all or nothing kind of thing. And if you miss a week for whatever reason, or a couple weeks, you get the flu, you get sick, then the wheels come off, and then you're kind of really back to square one. And maybe you are totally out of the game and not feeling it to do anything. So that brings us to some of the benefits of having smaller goals. They're more manageable. For some people, this might be like, every day I get 20 minutes of a walk-in or some cardio, and then I do 10 minutes of strength training, and I call it a day. And for some people, that routine, sort of a slow and steady routine, of that kind of, for 30 minutes, I exercise, I wake up early, I know it's just 30 minutes, then I'm done, and then I move on with my day. It's a repetitive comfort, and it sort of brings that, it's not this like building of intensity typically. It's like just a consistency goal, basically. You're being consistent, and that's your goal, and you want to get in X amount a week or a day. And once you've done that, it's the same, it's pretty close to the same every day or every week, and you're happy with that, and that works. There's also a little more wiggle room with that. If you do get sick for a few days or a week, that next time you feel pretty good, you might feel up to it, and then you get back into it, and maybe you go a little slower, but there's not this urgency of, oh my gosh, I'm so behind. You just take your time and get back into it, and that's great. So there's that. So it's less all or nothing. You just jump back in the game and you get back into it. But for some people, this may be boring. Every night I go to the gym, I do my thing on the elliptical, and then I do some free weights. And for some people, they get bored. It feels like there's no growth, literally or figuratively, like mind or body growth. And it gets boring. And sometimes when things are boring, we end up, either we switch up what we're doing, or we give up and we don't make time for it anymore because it's not interesting anymore. And there's probably less chance of becoming injured because you're probably not pushing it in that same way as you would if you were doing a big goal, a big training for a big hike, a big whatever. When I trained for a 9-mile open water swim across Lake Champlain, I think it was 9 miles. It was a 9-mile swim for me, because swimming isn't really a point-to-point event when you're open water, because you're there's currents and stuff. So I swam 9 miles, but the race might have been like 7.5 or 8 or something. Anyways, that was a big year of training for me, and I spent a lot of time training and also making sure my shoulders stayed strong. It was a huge commitment. Whereas like most of the people that I trained with, like in the master swim, they just went to the pool, 3 mornings a week and swam with the team, and that was it. I was kind of an outlier where I was doing this big crazy goal, right? So one way to help you kind of figure this out, and especially if you're having a hard time sticking with training, like sticking with any kind of exercise program, it might be helpful to sort of sit for a minute and think about what kind of person you are. Like if you're getting frustrated that you are not sticking to your morning promise yourself that you're gonna exercise, maybe you should sign up for a 5K, or you should join some exercise class where they hold you accountable, because that might really help you follow through. Maybe every 3 months you switch what you do. For 3 months you're taking a strength training class at the gym. For 3 months you're doing Pilates at the gym, and like switch things up so that you're not becoming bored. So know yourself a little bit. Maybe you are a big goal person, and doing boring workouts somewhere at the gym or whatever isn't cutting it for you, and you crave big goals and you love big goals, and you can follow through with big goals, and that's the kind of person you are, then try that. Try setting a medium goal and do it, and follow through and follow a plan and just do it. So I hope this was helpful advice. If you are trying to start and or stick to an exercise regimen, big goals or small goals? Big goals or small goals? Do you want your smaller workouts to grow, or do you just want to stay steady and be really consistent? And there's sort of no right or wrong. What's important is that you're doing something, and that you are just increasing your health. That's the most important thing. So I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a little note for me down below. You can tell me what you like to do for exercise. And you can also just click a little like, and you could always subscribe for more little helpful tips for me. I would love it if you did that. Okay, thank you so much. I look forward to you stopping by again sometime. Bye.